When we think about the hips and the glutes in yoga, often that comes along with thinking about opening them up and loosening them. And while that is certainly beneficial in a lot of cases, it's also a little misleading. It's important to have a balance, particularly in that pelvic area, between that opening up and strengthening them. Our pelvis holds a lot of our whole body's stability. So it's important to have that integrity there around the pelvis. So this yoga flow will help us to focus on engaging the glutes in particular so that we can help ourselves potentially experience less injuries, less lower back or sacroiliac pain, and anything around there, any issues that tend to crop up when hips are too open. So just starting in child's pose and taking a few breaths to settle yourself in. And when you're ready, coming up to hands and knees into a tabletop position. So choosing the position that works for your wrists, either underneath the shoulders or a bit further forward. Knees underneath the hips. Find a neutral spine, so engaging the core just enough so that you're not sagging through the lower back. Breathe in, lengthen out the right leg. Press back with that heel. All 5 toes facing down. And exhale, extend the right leg out to the right. So here you can keep it lifted, or if you're still building up a little bit of strength there, you can lower the foot down to the ground. Breathe in as you lengthen it out behind you again. Exhale, draw it out to the right. So in doing that a couple of more times with your breath, as we just start to warm up into the strengthening here. Breathe in, lengthen. Exhale out to the side last time, and inhale out behind you. Bend the knee, land it back underneath. You can do a little roll through the spine or through the hips here just to neutralize here. Find your grounding and lengthen your left leg out this time. Make sure you've got that neutral spine. Exhale, foot out to the left. So as you inhale, the foot's flexed, all 5 toes down, pressing back with the heel. Exhale, keeping strength around the glutes, around the backside muscles as you open it out. A couple more times here with your breath. So we usually breathe in and out of the nose, but at any stage, if you need to exhale or inhale through the mouth, allow that. Lower your knee down underneath you, and you can just come into a bit of a rocking child's pose for a moment. Again, just finding a bit of equilibrium here. And tuck your toes, plant your hands, finding downward facing dog, allowing a length in your stance, grounding through all parts of the palms and the hands, opening the chest up towards the thighs. Using this as a rest pose, as that neutral pose here for the body. Then make your way to the top of the mat. You can step or lunge your way there, finding Uttanasana, folding forward. Really bend the knees here, lengthening through the spine, soften the shoulders. And we come up through chair pose, Utkatasana. Arms sweep behind as you breathe in, bend the knees, sweep forward and up. Exhale, sit back into your seat. Make sure the knees are behind the toes, but still facing forward. Breathing into the belly, lifting up through the chest, and breathe in, lengthening. Bring your right knee up with you. As you exhale, cross the right ankle over the left thigh, just above the knee. Flex that right foot. Make sure that you're protecting the knee here. And sit back into your balanced pigeon, breathing. Another breath in and out. And inhale, lifting up the right foot. As you breathe out, coming into a figure skater movement. So the right foot crosses over behind to the left side. Inhale, lifting back up through center. Exhale, crossing over as the bum sits back, chest Torso leans forward, arms come out like wings. Breathing in, press into the standing foot, lifting the right knee up. Exhale, crossing over. Last knee lift, breathe in. And as you exhale, lengthen back to warrior 3. So the aim here is to keep the hips as square with the ground with each other as you can. So that right hip in this case might like to lift. See if you can draw it down. It will intensify the balance. Land that right foot back. Breathe into your crescent lunge. And as you exhale, just release the arms for a moment and check in. You can have a bend in the back knee to help. Make sure both hips are square with the front of the mat. And feel as if you're plugging that front thigh bone back into the hip joint. And that will help engage. So focus really a little bit less on the stretch in this case and more on the stability around the pelvis that holds you there. Make sure you're still breathing, whatever you choose. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, press back off that back foot as you draw the knee up into a controlled knee kick. Breathe in, press back, find your lunge. Exhale, pressing into the front standing foot as you draw that back knee forward. Inhale, opening up last time. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back to downward facing dog. Doing any rocks with the hips or pedals through the heels that you feel like you need to. And take a couple of breaths in stillness. Looking forward to your hands and making your way to the front of the mat once more. Finding Uttanasana, bending the knees, let your spine and neck lengthen. And come up through Utkatasana on your next breath in. Inhale up, keeping open through the chest. Sitting back as if you're sitting on a chair. And this time as you come to stand, you breathe in, lift your left leg up. So the left knee is bent. And cross the left ankle over the right knee. Flexing the foot, sitting back. So you'll get simultaneous engagement of the glutes on one side while you're opening up them a little on the other. Make sure you breathe. Allow any little wobbles that happen here. On your next breath in, knee lifts again. Exhale to your figure skater pose. Breathe in, knee lifts. And out, the left foot comes over to the right side behind. One more time, just like that. Allowing that control here as you need to, taking care of that front knee. So breathe in, lift the left knee up, exhale to your warrior 3 here, pressing back with the heel once again, checking that the left hip is lowered in line with the right. And gently land that left foot back, breathe in, sweep up into your crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Again, release the hands just so you can check in with the hips. Feel them square with the front of the mat. Feel that right thigh bone plugging into the hip joint, engaging, breathing. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, press into that front foot as the back knee comes forward. Inhale, land back in your lunge. Exhale, controlled here through the core and the glutes. One more time. Taking this as slowly as you need to keep safe here instead of rushing and losing form. Breathe in, sweep up. And exhale, frame that front foot, step back to downward facing dog. Again, pedaling out as you need to. Taking a breath or two here. And then just walking yourself to the middle of the mat so you can turn to face the side. Spread the legs a little wider, heels in, toes out. We're finding goddess pose or horse stance here. So bending the knees, make sure the knees are still in line with those middle 3 toes. Hands on the thighs just above the knees as you rock side to side. Ease into this for a moment. You can drop one shoulder at a time, just getting a quick little twist, or sway the torso side to side. And then engage. So focusing on the glutes once more. Focus on them first. Feeling both thigh bones plug in, the tailbone drawing down, the torso and crown of the head lifting, and then choosing to deepen or not. So you can pulse in and out here a little, or you can hold. So just doing what feels right for you, making sure, as always, that you are breathing. So take one more complete breath in and out. As you breathe in again, lengthen the legs, parallel the feet. Exhale, you can roll yourself down, give the legs a little bit of a wiggle. Relax your head and neck into Prasarita Padottanasana, your wide-legged forward fold. And then when you're ready, just simply bend your knees, bring your hands back to the front of the mat, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg into 3-legged dog. Come into pigeon pose. Exhale, the right knee to the right wrist. Lower leg comes diagonally across the mat. Slide on the ball of your back foot so you don't compromise the kneecap. Bring your hands wide, breathe in, ease out of the hip crease for a moment. Exhale, fold yourself down. You can let the elbows come wide to soften the shoulders. Use your stacked hands as a pillow if you need to. If you're finding that there's a gap between the hip and the ground, particularly on that right side, you can use a pillow or a bolster or a folded blanket underneath to fill the gap. With the hips square with the mat rather than leaning in one way or the other. And allowing yourself to just slow down here. And breathe. Soften the belly. This pose does open up around our hips. We just allow these short moments of that just to counteract a little bit of that strengthening. So that strengthening will still be there. It's just finding the balance, which is all so important in yoga, rather than obsession one way or the other. Doing what's right and safe for our bodies. So take another breath in and out. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Breathe in, stack the spine. Tuck that back foot, lift up off the back knee. Plant your hands and scoop through the belly as you breathe in. Right leg comes back up into 3-legged dog. Exhale, foot comes down to the mat. Breathe in, left leg, 3-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to left wrist, lower leg and foot diagonal across the mat. Slide on the ball of the back foot so you land on the top of the thigh, and bring your hands wide to help you breathe in and lengthen out of the hip crease. Before you exhale, take that length with you down into your depth, using once more whatever props you feel like you need. And just slowing your breath down in these last few minutes of your glute strengthening yoga flow here today. Noticing where the stretch feels intense and where it feels good. Remembering if it feels painful in the knee or hip at any stage to ease out, but discerning the difference between pain and intensity of stretch. Slowing your breath down little by little. Take one more complete breath in and out. Let the exhale really complete itself here. Hands underneath the shoulders, breathe in, stack the spine, head comes up last. Exhale, release, tuck that back foot, again lift up off the back knee. Press into the hands, scoop up through the belly, breathe into your three-legged dog once more. Exhale, lower. And then lower the knees, let them come wide. Press the hips back into child's pose, balasana. Arms can be wherever feels good. You can have them extended. Just let the elbows and shoulders be soft, whichever you choose. Feel the belly soft. Feel the lower back broadening here, creating space. With your head resting down, contemplating the practice that you've given yourself here today, that you've allowed for this strengthening, this support, this stability in your own body, and how that can reflect off the mat into other areas of your life.